Alright, good afternoon everybody. I'm Jack, and today I'm going to talk to you about feeding the world by altering the carbon cycle. Objectives: I'm going to inform you of the growing need for food. I'm going to highlight one of the ways that we can increase yields to meet these higher needs, and I'm going to explain how that works. So currently we have 795 million people that do not have enough food for a healthy life. That's about 1 in 9. So we already have a lot of starvation on the planet. This is just a graph showing the amount of ag land in the world, cropland in green and pasture in orange, and we have a lot of land in agriculture. People consume more meat than ever before. This is due to their rise in development. People are making more money, so they want to eat more protein, more potatoes in their diet because they can afford it. We only consume 55% of the world crop yield. That means 45% of the crops we produce go to feeding animals, so we're not the primary consumers. So that's a lot of crops we're growing are going to animal production. By 2050, our population is going to rise to 9 billion, so we're going to have to double the amount of food that we're already producing. So what does this mean for us? We don't have much more land to grow on. We're going to have to grow twice as much crops on the same amount of land. We might have to change our diets to eat less meat. Nobody wants to not eat steak, right? So that's not an option. So our best option is genetic engineering, and we can change the carbon cycle in plants by changing them from C3 to C4. And I'm going to try to explain that as simply as I can to you guys. So what is the carbon cycle? Leaves contain chlorophyll that run the light and dark reactions in plants. That's photosynthesis. So photosynthesis here, photosynthesis makes energy here that is transferred to the dark reactions that makes glucose that the plant uses as energy. So C3 crops, soybean, rice, wheat, barley, that's your major staple crops. In C3 you have one enzyme that makes glucose in the carbon cycle, and it also runs photorespiration, which is like plant maintenance. The way that works is Rubisco, one enzyme. So CO2 can bind to Rubisco, and that runs the carbon cycle, which makes glucose. Oxygen can bind to Rubisco, and that runs photorespiration, which is maintenance. So that means that it's an inefficient process in C3 because 50% of the time the enzyme is occupied by oxygen and is going to maintenance, photorespiration. In C4, like corn and sorghum, it's more efficient because Rubisco is not used to produce glucose. Instead, it's PEP. And that enzyme, when you use PEP in this enzyme or this cell, photorespiration is avoided, so you don't have any energy that's being used to go to maintenance. It's all being used to produce glucose. And I'll show you why. In C3, you have one cell that does photorespiration and glucose production. And then in C4, you have these outer cells which does maintenance, and these inner cells do glucose production. And the way it works is the cells that do glucose production is deeper in the leaf, so oxygen can't get to it as easily. So that means that the enzymes here are always using CO2 to do glucose production, and up here they're doing maintenance. So it kind of separates the two processes, and it makes it more of an efficient process when you're making energy for the plant to use. Altering rice is one of the main ways we're looking to feed the planet. Bill Gates is currently funding a project that's working with rice, which is our largest staple crop that's used worldwide, to turn it into C4. It's estimated that altering this rice to a C4 plant could increase yields by 50%, and that would do a lot towards feeding the people. With this growing population, we really need to increase yields and produce as much food as possible to feed everybody coming along. And these are my references. So if you have any questions on that, I can try to explain. I know it's kind of a confusing process. Thank you.